Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, Jordan Peterson is now being labeled by people on the right as a psychopath. Yes, you heard me correctly. Because Jordan Peterson dared to say something that no one really has dared to do right now, aside from Douglas Murray, and that is call out people on the right, the bad faith individuals, and what they're actually really doing is the dark tetrad traits, Machiavellism, narcissism, and psychopathy. And you've got lots of people that have hijacked or utilized this phrase, Christ is king, and they've used it as more like this attack. And then they'll manipulate the language. And if you call them out and say, why are you using the holy, reverent name of Christ like that to attack another person or to annoy another person, per se? And they will say, you're actually really attacking Christ by you saying, why are you using, and it's probably not a good idea to use it in the way that you're using it. You should have a little bit more reverence and respect for Christ's name. Why are you doing that? They will get defensive and they'll actually say it's more attack on Christ than it is an attack on us. And you are, in fact, the problem for calling that out. See how manipulative and how deceptive that really is? They're not the true conservatives, okay? The true conservatives are the ones that don't use the phrase Christ is king or any of the other holy, reverent names of God to attack another individual or just use it as like a significant, which lots of people do. The Hodge twins, for example, will say Christ is king, and then they'll add a swear word at the end. In fact, there's another person that I saw who had Christ is king, mother effer. And again, Hodge twins are the exact same thing. Why are you doing that? Do you not have like any respect at all for the name of Christ that you're using and you claim to utter? I believe that the ones that are using Christ's name like that definitely are bad faith actors and definitely are going to find out from Christ one day that you should not be taking his name in vain. That's exactly what they're doing. The ones that are claiming to proclaim Christ is king, but yet they're only using it for the nefarious means, as Jordan Peterson clearly laid out, are true psychopaths and narcissists. Only narcissists, really, when they get attacked or they feel like they're getting attacked, will go on the defensive as well as the offensive. The defensive is more an offensive, like, go after this person. We'll call him as many names we possibly can. It's the Jews' fault, all that sort of stuff. And if we're not careful, we're going to end up in a world of hurt on the right because we've allowed these wolves in sheep's clothing that have come in and tried to change conservatism to suit their narrative. It's not what real conservatism actually is. What do you mean? I've watched him for quite some time. I love his content. He's now starting to see it. And there's lots more too. Ali Stuckey, Seth Dillon, James Lindsay. These people have been calling this out. Now Jordan Peterson's seeing it. And then they're coming after Jordan Peterson and calling him a psychopath for suggesting that some on the right use Christ as king for nefarious reasons. Let's look at Jake Shields, for example. Here's a post that he did. I've always been clear. I'm not a Christian, but yet people on the right have adopted him as being right-wing because he supports Trump or he supports some conservative values and ideals. So let's bring him into the conservative bent, right? Problem with doing that is he's not actually a real Christian. He doesn't believe in the things that you and I believe in. So therefore, it's like being unequally yoked. You've got someone in your camp that doesn't actually really align with everything you believe in. And when confronted with, say, Israel versus Hamas, that issue, obviously he's going to go against Israel because he doesn't align with what the Bible says about the Jews. Hello? Then he goes, I use Christ as king because it makes Jews and grifters like James Lindsay, angry. He said that in March, 28th of March this year. Obviously, these people don't really understand that the internet is forever. It's there. We can see what you're saying. Candace Owens, the same thing. You cannot, to her, you can't criticize her, but she will then go, why can't you criticize Israel? We're not saying you can't. You definitely can. And then she'll also go, you can't criticize Christ as king because Christ will ever be king. This psyop, this neocon joint, bent of people are coming after Christ as king. We can't allow that. Let's band together. And she's got thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people that have joined into her little cult. And people are going, you're not a real Christian because a real Christian does not act like this. Here's what a real Christian acts like. He acts or she acts like how Christ taught us to act and behave. Treat his name with reverence and respect. Don't add swear words at the end. Don't do it. It's disrespectful. It's also taking his name in vain. Don't use his name for your own nefarious ideological means. For example, don't use it to attack someone else. That's unacceptable. But for some reason, the right has now become like the left. And Jordan Peterson, Douglas Murray, many others are calling this out for what it really is, and they're getting attacked for it. I get attacked all the time in my comment section. It's funny. It really is. If you can't see it, wake up. Use a little bit of common sense for once. People seem to think that everyone's got like heroes, right? If someone says something that you agree with, you go, I love that person. So everything that person says, I love that person because they've said that. I don't want anyone to worship or idolize me. I don't worship or idolize anyone except for Christ. And if I'm ever in doubt, I go back to the Bible. That's where the truth is. If I'm ever in doubt. And that's what I encourage everyone to do with everything that I say. Go back to the truth. And if I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong. If someone will point out to me that I'm wrong, or Jay, you can say this a little bit differently or better, which I know that I definitely can, I'll admit it. Candace will never admit it. Jake Shields, never admit it because it's pride. Hodge twins, again, it's all pride. It's all ego. It's all narcissism coming in. Like I said the other day, narcissism is just a fancy word for pride. It's all it is. You can diagnose or use psychological terminology all you want, but it's really just pride. That's what it comes down to. It's the root issue. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. And they're using everyone that follows along, fame and notoriety, to send bad messages out into the world. And it's wrong because we need to be smart enough to counteract it and go, enough is enough. You should not be saying these things. Doesn't mean you can't say them. You shouldn't be saying them. Because here's why. They're dangerous. Trying to change history as well. Trying to use God's name in vain. Not a good idea. Anyway, that's enough from me. But you guys take care. Be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.